So last time we spoke about that everything what exists and everything what is alive, what each creation has an existence, a life, that comes from the power of Hashem. And the Alter Rebbe used the terms that it comes from the letters of the alphabet. And that's why we say the Ata Mechayev Kulam, that you give everything existence alive, because we say don't read it as Mechayev, what it gives life, but read Mehaveh, what makes it exist. And everything gets the life and the existence each moment from the letters from Hashem. And the Ata stands for the Aleph to Tav, that's the first letter and the last letter. And the A is the five organs, what through that we can be able to speak. Like the lips, the tongue, that's the organs, but the letters come from that. If we compare Hashem, or more punctual to say that we compare the power of Hashem to letters and words and sayings, so then we have to understand how can we do such a thing? If we do speak about human beings, whatever form and shape of a human being, in the physical shape as in the spiritual shape. So we say, okay, a simple person talks like that. A smarter person has a higher level of talk. King Solomon is totally different. If you want to understand, it's riddles above riddles. It's impossible to understand. He has to go 3,000 levels down. But can we say the term talking, speaking about Hashem? Does he have a shape of a body, a form of a body? Does he have the spiritual form of a human being? If you say any form, you're not talking about Hashem. So then the question is, how can we say such a thing that we compare it to speaking? So that's what we're going to learn now. Ve'av she'en lo dmut haguf, even though it does not have a form of a body. So the question is, if it does not have a form of a body, so how do we compare the power that comes from him to speech? Speech is possible only if someone has the air inside and it has the five organs, then the letters comes out. But we cannot even think to say something like that about Hashem. We're talking about not about a creation. Someone what is totally unlimited and definite, it means there's not a kind of existence. It's the ultimate existence. So how can describe it with physical terms? הרי מקרא מלא דיבר הכתוב. Even though it does not have any form, but practically we see that the Torah, the Mikra, says it clearly. It's not that I have to explain it and I say that means talking. I give it an example like talking. The Pasuk himself said, "Vayidaber Hashem, vayomer Hashem." In other words, what we are saying now is a question not on us that we're using the term. That it's term what Hashem himself revealed to us. He led us, he gave us a way to understand his revelation with using these terms. We cannot, because if you would take a cat and when you see her at night, she's standing in front of the lake and she wants to jump in. You know why the cat wants to jump? Because she sees the reflection of the moon. And she's positive it's cheese. And she's just thinking one thing, how can I get the cheese? Cheese and the moon, they're not the same. of the same planet, but there's still two existences. We should be able to talk about Hashem. It's nothing to talk about. It's much further away than the cat looks on the cheese with the moon. It's nothing to compare. So the question is, how can we talk about Hashem? And Hashem wants us to understand godliness and holiness. So Hashem, since He's so good, so kind, unlimited goodness and kindness, He gave us the recipe how to talk about Him in the Torah itself. That's why when the Torah wants to tell us of the revelation from Hashem, what terms the Torah needs, what terms does the Torah use? Vaydaber Hashem vayomer, Hashem spoke, Hashem talked. Now we have to understand, okay, it's not we made it up. It's the Torah, Hashem gave it. But what does it really mean? So the Alter Rebbe goes in stages. And that stage is very important in life. Why? Sometimes we think, we speak about spiritual and holy terms, and we think that we can apply our knowledge to it. And practically it doesn't make any sense. Can we grab spirituality with our hands? And we have such a physical brain that thinks and understands only from the five senses. So can we go something above it? So how can we even think that we understand? The only reason why can we? Because there is the revelation of Hashem, and He gave us the methods and the tools and the ways. But the moment we don't go with that, we are the same as the cat. He's thinking it's cheese. So that's why we have to be very careful the way we think. We become philosophers. We see everything with physical terms, with a physical view. The whole point of view is ego and physical, materialistic. To go abstract, to go higher than that, to be able to leave the physical measurements and dimensions, then we cannot, like someone is in a swamp. Can he go out by himself? Impossible. And that's why Hashem gave us the rope, that we can hold on to it, and that can elevate our brain. That's why the Alter Rebbe, first of all, is saying, logical, we cannot talk. But the Pasuk is telling us, the Torah is telling us. Since the Torah is telling us, so we know that's the right way. Now we have to understand. That doesn't make us understand. That makes that the Torah understands. Do I understand? Now we have to go to the explanation. So it goes on the Alter Rebbe. Ve'i, Pchinat Itgalut, that is the level of the revelation. Achavbet Otiyot Elyonot, the 22 letters from above, Lenevi'im to the prophets, Umitlapshot Besichlam Vasagatam, that get included in their logic, in their understanding. B'marei HaNevuah, when they have the revelation, so they see the prophecy, the vision, וגם במחשבתם, in their thoughts, ודיבורם, and the way they reveal their prophecy, when they talk. כמו שכתוב, like it says in the Torah, in the verse, רוח השם דיבר בי, the spirit of Hashem is talking in me, okay, talk to me in me, ומילתו, his word, הלשוני of my tongue. וכמו שכתב האריזל, like the Arizal writes, בשער הנבואה, in his book Etz Chaim, he says, שער הנבואה, the gate of prophecy. So, in other words here, the Alter Rebbe is using, and by the way, we can understand a little bit what means prophecy. It's not like everyone thinks he's a psychic. A psychic means I apply my feelings. Let's say even I'm spiritual and I apply it on other things and I can feel the other things. Because that means I'm always connected and comes from within myself. So it must be limited. The only difference is some people, let's say if there is a psychic, mostly it's baloney, but let's say some people, their vision is 100 million. Some people have a better vision, get 200 million. Some people, when they look at the other's face, they see only a face. Some people can see if the person is sad or not. Some people have a better vision, so they can see if the person is smart or not. Some people have even a better vision, they can see if it's good-natured or not good-natured. Mm-hmm. What level? Depends on your vision. But everything is your vision. Prophecy is totally different. Prophecy means the revelation of godliness. Now, when we say godliness, is it something that we can put in words? Then it would be limited, it wouldn't be godly. Godly, the first thing has to be totally abstract. Everything what could be explained logically has nothing to do with prophecy. Because prophecy means abstract revelation from godliness. If it's something that I can achieve it with my brain, with my knowledge, even when I get abstract, so it's again, it's a painting, but it's a abstract painting, but the painting is there. It's a logic, but it's abstract logic, but it's still logic. So logic means putting a form and dimensions, spiritual dimensions, abstract dimensions, but still dimensions. Prophecy means a godly revelation. That godly revelation cannot come from within. That's why we were talking about a regular prophet. When he had the revelation, they just fell. They get abstract totally in that moment. Because the revelation is so strong that the physical and spiritual dimension of the body, the human being, cannot accept it. So they have to nullify themselves totally. And when that revelation comes in, they lose it totally. That's why they cannot even stand on the feet. They fall apart. Mm-hmm. Why? Because the revelation is so high. And how can you get the revelation? Only when you are able to get to the highest level of knowledge and you abstract totally. When you come to that level, then there is the switch. And not always. Even people, some prophets used to prepare, but they didn't get the prophecy. Sometimes they get it, sometimes not. Moshe Rabbeinu, he got it always. Why? Because he was really holy. And that's why he could stand on his stand like it is, and he got the revelation. Because he was the same as going to heaven. Alive going to Mount Sinai. It was in the skies and heaven and with the physical body. Because he was totally different. His soul was so strong that it took over the body totally.
They use music to prepare as a kind of music, no?
That's one of the things. But it's also, again, if it comes from us, mm-hmm. So it's still us. It's still human limitation. Mm-hmm. Prophecy means is revelation. So it contradicts totally our existence. But the prophets used to prepare themselves and elevate themselves to the max, then they have a revelation. Like, I'll give an example.
How do they feel they need to get it? It's a way to ask Hashem to get some prophecy?
Yes, exactly. It's called Bnei HaNeviim, Mit Nabiim. They get themselves ready. They should be able to get the revelation, and not always they get. But of course, they pray, they get connected, and they abstract themselves from all the way of thinking. Like, let's call it very not correct, a kind of meditation that really takes you out complete of your thinking. You get so abstract, the more abstract thinking, the more abstract, that you lose all the words. It's just delight. And that moment you get the revelation from above, but nothing I can get. Like, we'll have a student, and he comes into a class that the professor is a genius. And the way he explains things is in such a high level that the student in all his life would not be able to achieve it. But to be able to receive and perceive what the teacher is teaching, he has to stop thinking and see things the way he does. If he will start analyze as his teaches him, and he sees how he accepts it and how he understands it, he will never get to the level of the teacher. To be able to understand, he has to stop thinking totally with his way of thinking. Not only starts, his way of thinking. He has to nullify his way of thinking. When he nullifies his way of thinking, then he can get to that level by receiving the revelation. Now, Hashem is the teacher. And he is revealing his power, his strength, his glory to the prophet. When the prophet gets it, there's no words. It's a light. It's glory of Hashem. And that moment, no knowledge, no nothing. No emotion. Everything is gone. Yet, he has to bring it down to his thinking, to his thoughts. He has to bring it down in words. Because what does it mean in Hebrew? Prophet, Navi. Navi stands Niv Sfatayim. He brings it out with his lips. So the prophet, when he gets the revelation, doesn't get it in words. The words comes from within. So he takes the abstract revelation from Hashem. We say abstract, it's not even abstract. Abstract means from his level. He got from above, but it's totally, not even say above him, it's totally different. But he receives it. But then he has to pull it down to the level of thinking and even to the level of speaking, of talk. But what does he bring down? That high level of prophecy. What is the prophecy? The godly revelation.
It's like a cup. They need to be ready, very clean in holiness to receive this, the high level of holiness.
Yes, I can take even a better example. If you have a light and there is a glass, if the glass will not be clear, the light will not shine through it. The light of the prophecy has to be able to be perceived. If the brain, let's say, has the same ingredients or material, it's made of the same as the ant, the brain wouldn't work as a brain. The brain should work as a brain, especially if you want to go to a higher level, you have to refine the brain, right? If we learn and we work hard on it, the next morning it's easier to understand what yesterday I couldn't understand, the next morning go understand. Why? Because the brain got refined. So they come to the max, and then they get the revelation to be able to receive it. But they have to bring it down in thoughts and then in speak, in talking, right? Now, is there a connection between the abstract revelation to the words? But prophecy means that abstract revelation comes down to words, right? So what do we see from here? That even though it's an abstract revelation that's totally unlimited, yet it has the ability to come down to words and letters and so on. What comes down here? The revelation of the glory of Hashem. And that comes down to each individual. Correct? So we see already why it's called that Hashem spoke to the prophet. Because not we want to say that Hashem has a mouth. Hashem speaks. But that the godly revelation comes down to thoughts and to talking letters. But what is the real insight? The insight is actually totally abstract, totally glory of Hashem, but it's unlimited. But that revelation comes in such a form that the prophet should be able to receive it and even translate it in his thinking, his thoughts, and his speaking. Then he can express it to the other people. But what came down here? The abstract revelation. So we see that we say Hashem talked, Hashem said, we don't mean just the meaning that Hashem talked and Hashem said. We use it as an example. What means talking? Talking has two meanings, or two dimensions. One is the physical words, or even the spiritual thinking. We have letters and words. But inside it, the letters is just a wagon, a vessel to bring over a message. If I have feelings, how can I share with you the feelings? I have to express it. How do I express it? I'm using words. Do I want to give you the words or the message what's in the words? I want to give you the message. How do I do it? I talk. Now, so when we want to use it as an example, we don't take the physical, technical biology how it works. We're taking the method. The abstract method is that there is ability to take things what's in my inside, my soul, and I'm able to express it. How do I express it? How do I call that expression that I share with you, my feelings? Talking. So now if you take the parallel, compared to Hashem, when we say Hashem was speaking, Hashem was talking, we don't mean physically he was talking. He revealed his glory to a lower level, to somewhat beside him, about him, outside of him. Not really outside, but to the creation. So he gave it to the prophet. So what did the prophet receive from Hashem? His glory. So did Hashem practically talk? Depends what we're talking. If we take talking as a form of a body and a shape, no. But if we take the method, he revealed himself to the world. And his revelation was in a high level. But why do we call it talking? Because to the prophet, it gets translated in words. It gets translated in expressions. So we say, where did that start? From Hashem. So who was giving that prophecy? What comes out in words? Hashem was talking. So instead of going to the old philosophy and explain it, so the Torah gives us the tools how to use it very short. Hashem was talking to you. But we don't mean the physical. So saying so, meaning when we learn each verse in the Torah, we have to know how to take it. We do not take it materialistic and physical. We have to understand it's very abstract. And once we see it this way, we look at the Torah totally different, because it's all a revelation of Hashem and the words of Hashem. Because everything. So with that Alter Rebbe is going back to explain how was the creation done with the wording of Hashem. The same as we see in the prophecy, then we're going to go back next time.